Alright guys, okay, so I want to talk about another radio, which I've got in my collection. Um, I bought this a couple of months ago, quite secretly to be honest with you, due to the controversy surrounding these units. Right, before the CB band even became a thing in the UK, a lot of people were still using the old AM sets, and being illegal until a 934 megahertz band, you know, turned up that Ofcom provided for CB use in this country, in the UK. No, the reason why 934 didn't really take off that great is because the equipment was so fucking expensive, nobody could have really afford it. You know what I mean? I mean, in relative price terms, you could pretty much buy a sidebander, a second-hand sideband radio for about 150 quid, 100 quid back then, probably a little bit cheaper, maybe 75. If it was fucked, probably about 50 quid. So these units were designed to be implemented to the UKCB band, and as I said, the equipment was very expensive, and only the top elite people with a lot of money could actually afford a complete setup. I mean, I think to buy the radio itself would have cost you about 260 quid, or near 300 or something. Yeah, they were that expensive. Yeah, but I mean, you'll see why in a minute. Because these things are built tough, really fucking tough. These are like commercial grade radios. Until they got banned, and the band got swapped to the 27 megahertz. Okay, because it was just easier and a lot clean. Well, yeah, a lot cleaner, and you could get a lot further. Because the 94 megahertz band is on the cellular network these days. Well, you can't use these units because they're fucking illegal these days. But I mean, some of the outer fringes still use these radios, but I haven't used one for 20 odd years. So I don't know who's using these units in the small group, but when I was using my unit, I had a group of about 3 people that I used to talk to. Now the reason why you really couldn't do a lot with these radios is because of how high on the band it was. I mean, we're talking 934 megahertz, the cellular radio band, which, as you know today, if you're on a mobile network, there's loads of repeater sites literally scattered around every city, to make it easy for mobile phones, So that's the reason why, it's because you couldn't really get anywhere with them. I mean, there have been some people that have got quite a far distance, which had been logged and all the rest of it. Now, as far as a license goes, I'm not even sure you needed a license for these. They were just damn expensive to buy. Not many people had that sort of cash to be fucking dropping on a unit like this. I mean, you got the radio, which is RRP price around 300 quid, I think it was. Then you had to buy the SWR meter, which would set you back about 150 quid. Then you had to buy the antenna, and it's like, you're looking at like nearly £1,000 for a complete setup. And it's like, you might as well just go amateur radio at that point, isn't it? Yeah. And it's like even today, if you're trying to buy a sidebander, you might as well go for an amateur radio and pass your foundation license at this point. Because trying to get a half decent sideband radio these days is going to set you back about 200 quid, 300 quid, for a new one. I ain't joking, man. Some of these units, the sideband units coming out today, are just fucking insanely expensive. But here's the actual unit that I've got. Now, I've got no microphone on this, It's a 4-pin microphone socket, so I could probably figure it out if I opened it up, which goes where for audio receive and keying out. It's only 4 pins. I could figure that shit out in a second, yeah. And that's the antenna socket, which is like, you know, like that. I mean, check this rear end out. I mean, how overbuilt is this fucking thing, yeah? It's just ridiculous, mate. As I said, this is like commercial grade fucking radio shit. And yeah, this hasn't even been modified, yeah, because it's still got the warranty stickers, yeah, which have not been broken. And yeah, this is a Nevada radio. Came out of Nevada radio back in the day, yeah. So this has not even been tampered with. Now, quite a lot of these had been tampered with and expanded to 40 channels. This is only still 20 channels, yeah, which I'm keeping like it, yeah, for the originality. Oh, nice long power lead on it as well, by the way. But yeah, it is a nice little unit. And it does look quite decent when it's powered up. I haven't even powered this up since I've had it. Considering I don't have an antenna for the moment. I could make an antenna, yeah, which I want to try and make and see, you know, see if there's anybody actually about and listen for a while, yeah. But building antenna is going to be so simple because the antenna is only going to be like that big in the first place, yeah. Because as you know, 94 megahertz is way up the band, so you don't even need a big antenna. And that was the main problem with these units. The smaller the antenna, the more line of sight it is. Yeah, it's like 2 meters, isn't it? Yeah. So that's the reasoning behind it. As I said, there have been some people that have got some good distances off them, but they've had the money to sort out a decent antenna system and all the rest of it, and do testing on these things, yeah. So that's what that is. A cool fucking radio that's actually banned in the UK, yeah. Yeah, you can't use these. These are fucking banned, mate. Fucking brilliant.